Hello, my dear. Rhonda Constant, your favorite hometown medium, physical energy healer, oracle card advisor, paranormal investigator, voice for your loved ones. Uh, I'd like to explain just real shortly a little bit how this works. I see, hear, feel, sense, know. They talk to me, but they also show me pictures, and I call it spiritual charades. So I will describe the picture the best I can. Hated charades when I was a kid. Now look at me. It's every day. Uh, anyway, um, they don't give me all the details. They'll only tell me enough so you understand what they're talking about, because the details are none of my business. So if it doesn't make any sense now, you'll either remember it, keep it in mind, because you'll remember it later, see it later, or somebody else will validate it for you later. Go, oh, I know what he's talking about. It's not an exact science. You have to stretch it outside the box a little bit. We communicate the best way we can, so just keep that in mind. And like I said, anything you don't understand, keep that in mind. So anyway, he's already saying, all right, so I asked him if the right person is in jail. He said yes and no. There's two. One's in there, one's not. One's getting ready to head there for something else. 50% my fault. He's taken 50% of the blame for what happened. 50% wrong place doing the wrong thing. If I hadn't been doing what I was doing, I wouldn't have been in that situation. He says he's owning up to it. He says it's probably more his fault than that, because he didn't need to be there. This happened because he was doing what he was doing, being where he was being. He's going peace out, and then he kind of does, I think that's a Batman thing, isn't it? Doing that. I don't know what that means. Keep your nose clean, and he kind of puts his finger up his nose. Keep your nose clean. Stay away from them. I'm assuming that he's talking about the same ones he was just talking about. You will be happier getting away from that type of energy. No good. He says, I'm a saint now, and he has a little halo around his head. He's laughing. He's joking. No, he's not a saint. We don't get to be instant saints when we leave. It was a little sarcastic, but a joke. He says you can do whatever you want with my shit, because I don't need it anymore. I don't care. Kind of takes special care of my shoes. He's not worried about his shit, but he is a little worried about his shoes. I don't know, was he I call my grandson a shoe whore. He's crazy over shoes. And I think I don't think in my experience I've run across one that really gives a crap about their personal physical belongings that are left here. They don't need them anymore. It's just stuff. It's just stuff. It means nothing to us once we're there. He says, tell her what? It's just shit, he says. It's just shit. Do whatever you want with it. He mentions his shoes again. He's talking about some kind of smoke that you smelled. And I don't think it's a cigarette. You smell every so often. So you can be walking through a store, you can be going outside, doesn't matter where you're at, and you smell, that kind of smoke. Know that that's him popping in to tell you he loves you. He's checking in on you. So validate him, acknowledge him, tell him you love him, ask him to bring you more signs if you want more signs. Totally up to you. Talking about checkers, and then sounded like he said Cheerios. Did somebody ever put Cheerios in the toilet? Like, what it looks like. It may not be, but what it looks like is like I've seen people put, or heard of people put Cheerios in the toilet, and then when you're teaching a little boy to potty train, then you have them aim at the Cheerio floating in the toilet water, which is kind of dangerous because when they're that little, they'll put their hand in there. I had daycare for 25 years. I know what they'll do. They'll put their hand in there and want to eat the Cheerio. He says, "How do you like my hair? How do you like my hair?" I don't know. He's got it in braids. Um, I don't think it's. I don't think it was much different than the picture, but he's asking you how you like his hair. I don't know if you used to help him braid his hair. Somebody, maybe more than one somebody's, used to not call him by his full first name. They used to have a shortened version of his name, like a nickname, but it was part of his name. Everybody called him. He's going two. Were there two people in his family that kind of had their about the same name when it was shortened? Two or two people. I don't think he meant two people though that called him a shortened version of his name. And he's over here on my right side. He leans down. He's looking at you. He says, "I want you to know that I'm this close sometimes." He's very calm. He's very cool. He's very collected. He's very soft. He's very polite. So you could sometimes feel that energy. And I never know how somebody else is going to feel the energy, but it could feel like a balloon is pushing in there. It could just be a fullness. It could be they make my head itch. Like always look like I have head lice or something when they get too close. Um, could feel a warmth, could feel a tingling. You could just feel that presence, like when somebody walks into a room and you don't know they're there. You don't hear them, you don't see them, but you feel them come into the room. He said you're very distracted right now, very distracted for some reason. Why you got to be all up in their business? Don't worry about it. Let them handle their own shit. You need to kick back, relax, put your feet up, and light one. Everything's just fine after I left. And he's talking about down here. Whatever was done down here, as far as like funeral or whatever kind of arrangements were made or anything along that line or anything like with this stuff, he said it was fine. He said somebody's worrying about it, whether they did the right thing. And he's not talking about just his belongings. He's talking about the whole process. Nobody needs to get beat up. Just keep in mind, everything happens for a reason. He said, yeah, I know, I didn't always believe that either. Again, he says, everything happens for a reason. And I like to tell people, before we come down here, I don't know how much you believe in like past lives or before we get here or where we go or anything like that, but what I've been taught, before we come down here, we decide whether we're going to have an exit point when we're going to leave. It could be when you're 1 day old. It can be when you're 100 years old. Whatever that time period you already decide on, I don't know that I've ever heard one of them say, oh, it changed from 5 days old to 100 years old. It can wiggle a little bit. There can be like a big, not big, but there can be your timeline, depending on what's going on with people around you. It can move a little bit because when you leave, everybody around you learns a lesson. Everybody around you learns something. It affects everybody the rest of their life. So it can wiggle a little bit depending on how that's working, how that part's working, but we're going to leave in that time. Usually, from what they've told me, is we decide how we're going to leave. Not always. Suicide's about the only thing different that I've seen where we use our free will choice and we bump up the timeline. Sometimes it's meant to be, sometimes it's not. So, no, it didn't hurt. Your spirit actually usually leaves the body right before, let's say you're going to have a head-on collision, usually your spirit will right before the point of impact, so you don't have all that trauma and all that pain. And that pain stays with the physical body. That's just one less thing for them to cleanse. He's making me itch. He says, so they have been working on me. They have got me cleansed. It's like they peel you like an onion when you get up there. They peel all this crap, the heavy crap from earth that we carry on our backs all the time while we're here. And they actually cleanse you of that when you get up there. So then your energy's all light and bright, and cheery, and it's all about love. I love you. I love you, my friend. Okay, he's saying he wants you to say hi to one of his bros. Oh, he's doing bro. I can't say it. Bruh. Bruh, bro. So however they say bro. It's that slang that my grandson uses. I never can do it right. Anyway, but he's showing somebody, and they've got their hair kind of spiked, but it's really, really up, and it's really up tall, and it's kind of in the middle, but it's not. I don't know that it's actually a spike, like a whoop, mohawk type spike. But sometimes they'll exaggerate the picture, so I pay attention to that certain point. And sorry, he's making me itch again. He's showing it looks more like a mohawk. And it could be somebody who doesn't have their hair like that now, but maybe they did. But he's acknowledging this male. Okay, now he's showing me you driving. The car looks like it's a dark color. He's in the passenger side. He's smoking. See why he's showing this. You stop. Somebody leans in his window. There's not a good feeling from this person leaning in the window. I don't know why he's showing this. It's a memory. He's saying something about the other one. I don't know if he means the other one, like when he was talking about two and one's not in jail but going to jail, maybe on another charge. I don't know how you would distinguish this. He's got to come up with something a little more detailed. Excuse me. To know, hopefully you know who this is. Another male, looks a little similar to him.
I couldn't find any videos matching your request. Here are some recommendations.
So I didn't say anything to ALEXA. Anything that happens during a reading, while I'm doing a reading, is for you. For some reason, she piped up. And it says The Boys Season 2. I don't know what that would mean. The Boys Season 2. Alexa, stop. Don't know what that means. Anyway, got something to do with this guy leaning in the car window. Okay, now he's standing there and he's holding one single lily. One single lily talks about pushing up daisies. I don't know if that's a term he ever used, pushing up daisies. One single lily. Have you given him lilies? Have you taken lilies or put lilies, somewhere in memory of him? He says, "Don't I smell good?" And he gets all perked up, like almost looking a little cocky the way he's perking up. And so whatever that essence is that he used to wear, whatever that smell was about him, you will smell that. So it'll be just the same thing as any other sign. You could be in the store, you could be outside, you can be in your car, doesn't matter where it's at, and you get that whiff of whatever it was he used to wear. Validate him, acknowledge him, tell him you love him, and ask him to bring you more if you want more. Totally up to you. Okay, now he's showing me a birthday cake, so I'm trying to find out. Acknowledging somebody's birthday that's real close to now. Let's see if he'll tell me if it's just passed or just getting ready. He says getting ready to come up. He's acknowledging, saying happy birthday to somebody whose birthday is coming up pretty quick. Okay, he's got a dog with him, dark colored, real, I would say black. Looks like he's got a little bit of brown, maybe on his, around his eyebrows or above his eyebrows. Bigger dog. Could be a Rottweiler. It's not, it's, because it's got a bigger head. It's not a Labrador. Definitely not a Labrador, but it's got short hair like that. So he's acknowledging that he has this dog with him. So if he didn't have a dog like that, then he wants somebody here to know that he has their loved fur baby with him and that the dog is okay. He says they're chilling out, chilling. It's like he's taking care of the dog. They're together. Okay, he says take care of Mrs. Beasley. Now, Mrs. Beasley was way back in my day, and then they had a Mrs. Beasley doll. So we kind of stink at names. We don't usually get them exact. So think of somebody he would call Mrs. B something or BE or BEA. Mrs. Take care of Mrs. Beasley, or a name simple. This is where you might have to stretch it outside the box a little bit. He said he wants to see you happy. He wants to see you less stressed out. He wants you to let go of any guilt. And I think he's talking about guilt associated with something with his passing, or maybe something that happened right after his passing or something. No, he says before his passing. Anyway, he wants you to let go of that. Things are going to be all right if you chill. And he's, like I said, he's very calm, very, very relaxed, very calm. He said he doesn't need to get excited anymore because it's not worth it. We see things different once we get there. He sees you like tapping, like tapping your foot very nervously. Like you're patient about something. You're impatient about something. Waiting. You're impatient about it. But he's not telling me what it is. He says chill. It'll be okay, and it'll happen when it's supposed to. Let it flow. I should call myself the itching medium. They just make me itch. I don't know why we can't change that. I guess that's one way I know they're around. You're a good person. It had nothing to do with you and everything about me. So again, he's owning up to something. You're a good person. Just remember that. He's showing like somebody has a rope tied on your waist and like they're pulling you, but they're pulling you in a way that you shouldn't be going. He says, know that if you get in a pinch, you can call on me. So I promise you 1,000%, he can hear you, he can see you. Call on him. If you get, he says, in a pinch. So if you need a little backup, you'd be surprised what they can manipulate from the other side, what they can help make happen, but only if it's in a good way. You know, they're not going to help you trip somebody or beat somebody up or whatever. But if there's something good that you want to do, ask him for help. If it was something he would have been good at here, ask him for help. Ask him to help. And then watch who calls you, who steps in front of you, who knocks on your door, I don't know, offers you a job. It just depends on what the situation is. They can nudge people. Okay, he's getting ready to leave, but there's that essence, that smell about him again. Whatever is cologne or hair product or whatever, I'm feeling like it's a smell from up this way. You're going to get that because he's mentioning it again. Anyway, he's walking away. He's giving a peace sign. He's just really calm, laid back. Okay, much love to you, my dear. Thank you for allowing me to be his voice. Rhonda Constant, your favorite hometown medium, physical energy healer, oracle card advisor, paranormal investigator, voice for your loved ones. Later.